Seconds away. It's now 3 p.m. Jack Tarter, Chairman of the Wyoming School Facilities Commission. The first item on our agenda is to call roll call. Would somebody please call roll?
Okay, that's my job.
I know.
All right, Commissioner Coughlin,
Present.
Commissioner Ferens will not be attending. Commissioner Kashelhofer,
Present.
Commissioner Thayer's not here. Commissioner Thorne,
Present.
Commissioner Van Mark,
Here.
Trent Carroll for Superintendent Dagenfelder,
Present.
and Chairman Tarter.
Present.
We have a quorum, sir.
Thank you. Would the commission and staff please introduce themselves?
All your join online links are up there, so.
Just a second, Chairman. We have a technical issue. What's wrong?
Which I think, I got the one on our website. Thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
Shelby Carlson, School Facilities Division Administrator.
Shelley Lovato, Executive Assistant to the Director and the Commission.
Travis Hoff, Public Information Officer.
John Rexis, Project Management Supervisor.
Erin Moon, Project Manager.
Are there any others? Okay. Director remarks.
Mr. Chairman, I just opened by saying we look forward to presenting the Campbell County High School Mercer to you. I did want to interject also that the tentative meeting we had for December 19th, that we will not carry forward with. We will not have a Mercer ready to present there, so you can all take that off of your schedules. And I think that's all I have to add for today. And Director McComey walks in if you wanted to make some director remarks as well.
No, I'm, Mr. Chairman, I'm fine. Meeting hopefully will be fairly short today, so I think we have a good presentation and looking forward to a commission vote.
Okay, thank you. The next item is the approval of the agenda. And because we have an item to discuss in executive session, I'm going to move the executive session to fall after item 3. So when you make a motion to approve the agenda, it is with the executive session move following action item 3. I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd move that we approve the agenda with the changes with the executive session following item 3.
I need a second.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. And I want everybody to know we absolutely will be having an executive session. Any discussion? Any discussion? Sensing you're ready to vote, all those in favor of this motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Okay, the next item is action item 1, previous business meeting minutes. I'd entertain a motion. Well, I need a recommendation first, excuse me. The recommendation is the State Construction Department recommends that the School Facilities Commission approves the minutes for the November 21st, 2024 meeting as presented.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we approve the agenda, the minutes based upon November 21st, 2024.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion or any additions or corrections? Discussion or any additions or corrections? Discussion or any additions or corrections? All those in favor of approving the previous business meeting minutes from November 21st, please say aye.
Aye.
If any opposed, please use the same sign. Seeing none, the minutes are approved. The next item is a presentation on Campbell County School District Number 1 most cost-effective remedy. The presentation, and Mr. Tanner, I think, will be handling the presentation along with Shelby.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. This afternoon, that is our goal, is to present the most cost-effective remedy study that was performed for Campbell County High School. I do know that we've got Superintendent Ayers online, and Assistant Superintendent Bartlett is here in the room with us. So they are joining us for the presentation. You'll remember back in March of 24, the commission approved a Chapter 3, Section 8 request for adequacy issues related to Campbell County High School. Our goal with this Mercer is to ensure that we meet the objectives of providing uniform adequacy standards, a sustainable long-term solution for Campbell County with their high school, balance the benefits, costs, and educational outcomes, as well as address current and future enrollment needs. In May of 24, the State Construction Department entered into a new task order with MGT to perform the Campbell County High School Mercer. Their goal was to guide and facilitate the process as we work through this with the district, the state, as well as the consultant. Perform a thorough review of all available data, including the past Mercer studies that have been performed by Campbell County High School in 2020, 2022, and 2024. It was updated. And then perform the evaluation and determination and evaluation of all the possible remedies, and then determine which one would be the most cost-effective remedy. With that, I would like to turn the floor over to Rob Tanner and Narissa Sparks, if she was able to join us today, to make the presentation for Campbell County High School. So, Mr. Tanner, you have the floor.
Thank you, Shelby. Can you guys hear me okay?
Beautifully.
Yes.
Good. It's my pleasure to be here again today with you, and we thought it was important to just keep the presentation that we gave to Campbell County School District 1 the same for consistency's sake, so that you're both seeing exactly the same thing. So some of this may be, apologize, maybe things that you already are aware of, but again, apologize. We felt like it was a good thing to keep this consistent. So next slide, please. Mercer study introduction. There's three things that trigger Mercer studies. Could be capacity, condition, or adequacy. And the overall goal is to ensure the efficient use of the limited financial resources and maintain safe and functional school environments. Next slide, please. With Campbell County High School, it was triggered by adequacy and condition. Again, the goal being to develop financially, educationally beneficial remedy. There was multiple tasks involved, including data collection, a site analysis, enrollment projections, capacity and utilization analysis, identifying possible remedies, and then last but not least, the recommendation. Next slide, please. The report is structured professionally with introduction, methodology. We have a section for just community demographics, enrollment projections, again, capacity and utilization, remedy options, and recommendation. Next slide, please. So the first thing on here, what you're looking at is historical population in the Campbell County area. And you can see the dark bars there are the 2014 population. The lighter blue bars are 2024. This is the overall population, as you can see, is broke out into little 5-year bands, all the way from 0 to 5, all the way to 85 and over. But that little red box there is what we like to look at, particularly because that's the school age students. And so you can see from 2014 to 2024, especially in the 5 to 9, there was a decline of the student age in that population. But on the high school side, that 15 to 19 group, there was an increase in population. Next slide, please. And following that up, this is exactly the same type of setup, except this is projected population. So now this time the dark blue bar is 2024 population, with a light blue is 2034 population or projected population. And so as you can see, that 5 to 9 year, the 10 to 14 year, and the 15 and 19 years, they're all are projected to decline somewhat over the next 10 years. Next slide, please. This is enrollment projections for the school district as a whole. As you can see, there has been a little bit of a decline over the last 10 years, and we're projected to see that happen. There's a little bit of a wave going through. When we talked about that first 2014 to 2024 population, the younger school age students, there was a decline in that population group, but in high school, it was an incline. So that wave kind of pulls itself out over the next 10 years, and there's a decline overall in enrollment or projected. These are a lot like weather projections. Obviously, the 1, 2, 3 day forecast is better than the 10-day forecast. Same thing with enrollment projections. Next slide, please. And these are enrollment projections just for Campbell County High School. As you can see, kind of matches that that slide with the population of the high school students going up, cresting, and it's projected to fall over the next 10 years. Next slide, please. We did look at capacity calculation of the current facility. Again, at high school, this is some of the instructional space, general guidelines for conducting that. Next slide, please. And then this is, we go room by room. So it's literally go through, find every room. What is this being used for? Attach a capacity to it. When we did that, we came up with a 1,699 capacity, maximum capacity, sorry, with the efficiency factor stipulated by the state of 85% for high schools. That brings the functional capacity down to 1,444. Next slide. So then trying to see what that would look like as far as utilization rates. The first table there on the left is projected utilization given the current 1,444 functional capacity. So you can see it starts out just under 80% and then goes down with as the enrollment projections fall off, so does the utilization, obviously. So you can see it falling to just around 70. The one on the right is if we were to reduce the right size with a new facility, looking at somewhere around 1,190 functional capacity with a new facility, you can see where those numbers fall. The first 2 years there still remain with the old facility because obviously it's not going to be built before 2026. It may not. I'm not putting a date on anybody. I said that before at the board meeting, but I definitely felt like that it was going to take a couple years at least. So then you can see the projected utilization rates there as it falls through 2033. Next slide, please. Remedy options. So if you're looking at everything, we broke it down into 3 different options. The first one is just renovation of the facility. Each one of these options has its own pros and cons, some more pros and some less pros. But for renovation, one of the cons is that it's going to require a temporary swing space as you go through and do section by section renovation. Because of the condition of the building, it does need replacement of almost all major systems: roof, HVAC, electrical, plumbing, fire safety. So it's a comprehensive renovation. It also has the longest construction cycle because you have to do it in pieces and parts. You're looking at a 3 to 5 year renovation time frame for that. And then there are some issues with the layout. The original building had some open concept rooms that have been modified, and they're a little odd shaped and a little odd configured. So even with the renovations, there's some things with the layout that won't be remedied through renovation. The second option was to build a new facility, a right-sized facility, for somewhere on the campus, but not on not where the existing structure sits. I think there's just a little bit, plus or minus about 100,000 square feet larger with the facility now than is needed compared to the maximum allowable square feet calculation the state does for around 1,190 students. So it will be a smaller overall footprint, than the current facility. Obviously, it's a shorter time frame for construction because you can do it all at one time. Again, you have ability to right size that facility. And then it's going to be designed to the current educational functionings and standards of the 21st century. And then the third option is construction of a new facility, either on the current structure, where the current structure is, or partially on it. Again, some of the cons with that is it would then require a swing space to move at least portions of the students in while construction was going on. It would be a longer construction cycle due to the phasing. But you could then still right size the building. So another pro to that option is you could right size the building, and it would be designed for the current educational programming of the 21st century. Next slide, please. The vocational building is off by itself, a separate building. I think we call it, it's called Building G. It needs some system repairs and replacements and upgrades. And in all three of these options, it's staying. So that needs to be baked into the cost. It'll be the same cost for every option because the same things need to be done if it's staying. But again, HVAC, sanitary sewer, some technology cabling, lighting, electrical, and vehicle exhausts are just some, not necessarily all of the upgrades that are put into this number of just over $4.2 million for the vocational building. Next slide, please. So option one, again, this is a total renovation. We've broken it down by renovation cost of the main building. You can see the vocational building, that $4.2 million is in there as well. And we total that out. We put a 10% contingency through that. Typically, when speaking with the state, they like to use a 10% contingency for renovation work, whereas for new construction, 5% is generally what is looked at. There can be some variations, but just in general. So this case, that's a little larger than option 2 and 3. But again, because of the 10% being a renovation, 15% planning and design, and then swing space preparation. You can see there's quite a bit of dollars in swing space construction. There's site preparation. You got to get those modulars in there. There's utilities, there's furniture and equipment. And then the last thing is extra staff, because when you're renovating a building, it's dusty, it's dirty, it's a mess, and you're going to need someone to constantly be on just the construction mess, and some security around making sure the students don't get into some of those construction areas as well. Total number comes to just over $160 million. Next slide, please. Then when we go into option 2, the first thing we had to figure out was new facility size. And so looking at that 1,187 students, doing the maximum allowable calculation by the state comes up with 200,320 square feet. Campbell County School District 1 does have a central kitchen located in their current high school. And we did look at whether or not we should have a standalone versus adding this back to the new facility in option 2. And it was much more efficient to put it into the school because there's shared spaces and shared equipment that brings an efficiency to that. And I think 15,000 square feet is what we were looking at for a standalone central kitchen, and then adding it or incorporating it into the new facility would add another 5,000 to the facility rather than that 15,000. You can see where that would be much more efficient. Then also looking at the vocational building, the current vocational building is 20, a little over 24,000, almost 25,000 square feet of instructional space and instructional support space. But when you look at the capacity driven space of that, the teacher stations and that type of thing, really only about 9,750 square feet thereabout is what we would consider capacity driven. The number that we want to see for a high school facility is 15,000 feet. So subtracting that 9,700 and some change from that 15,000 gets this additional 5,625 square feet that's needed in the high school to bring the total CTE space for the entire campus to 15,000. And then the other thing that the state asked to look at, and there's a calculation inside the report itself, but was, when you build a new facility, you always want to build it in such a way that you can build a wing or a classroom wing or something on it. But a particular problem that comes with that is not a really easy way to expand some of the common areas, student dining, the auditorium, the gymnasium, those type of things. Some of those common areas aren't easily expandable, and so we're looked at how do we go ahead and do that now up front, which would be much cheaper to do now than later on, and it'd be much more congruent too for as far as the school is concerned. So we looked at a 200 student expansion if that would become necessary. We did a calculation for what that looks like for the common space, and we came up with 5,467 extra square feet. Subtract the 24,750 from the vocational building since we added on that space already, and the total square feet for the new facility is 191,662. Sorry, I seem like I threw a lot at you on one slide. Next slide, please. So looking at the option 2 has 3 location possibilities. There's probably more, well, there's not probably, there is more. They could swing left or right a little bit, especially when you start looking at geotech and things like that. But in general, there's 3 areas that we looked at for location. This first location is east of the current football field and has quite a few problems and pros and cons. First pros, it's closer to utilities than one of the other options for sure. It allows be able to use 12th Street there for some in and out, not having to come through the shopping center to the west anymore for traffic patterns and bus pickup and drop off. Cons, it's pretty long distance. It's pretty good hike from the vocational building. So especially when we look at accessibility needs, that inclement weather, the moving from students from the high school to the vocational building definitely would need some sort of transportation option, whether it be a bus or something to shuttle students back and forth. Doesn't have a whole lot of area for expansion. It's landlocked on 3 sides. And really on the 4th side again by the football field, so it really doesn't have a whole lot of room for expansion. And then it is pretty low. I think I don't remember the number of it, but I want to say like 5 or 6 feet above elevation above that wetlands. May not be an issue, but for soil things, it could possibly be. Again, geotech study would be able to tell you that. But go on to the next slide, please. Looking at the cost for 2A. So we're looking at the main building construction there. Again, adding that upgrades to the vocational building, that 4.2 million in there. And then we broke out the contingency, 5% for the main building, 10% for the vocational building. So it's a little bit cheaper there on the contingency cost. Again, 15% design, demolition of the building, pavement, sidewalks, and pathways on the campus. The total renovation cost coming just under $144 million. Or I'm sorry, total construction cost. Shouldn't really say renovation cost. Next slide, please. The second option is on the current football field. This is the preferred option for the school district administration. Again, has pros and cons. It is right there on the 12th Street, gives good access to that street instead of having to come through the shopping center to the west. Is the closest option to the vocational building. Does require relocating the football field, which will be somewhat more expensive for some of the enhancements for the school district. Talking about press box, concession stands, if you want restroom facilities or locker room facilities out there. But some of the one of the cons, the only cons that this one is maybe the elevation. Again, I say maybe because we wouldn't know until the geotech study was done. But it is a few more feet above elevation than the option or the location A, but it's still only about 6 to 8 feet above that wetland area. But it is as high or even higher in some instances as the current location. So hopefully that wouldn't be an issue. Next slide, please. Dropping that out into, it comes out at exactly the same cost as location A. The new track and football field cost are baked into that main building construction and need to be updated even if you don't replace even if we went with option A, for example, you would still be looking at some work on the football field and track under that. So the cost comes out exactly the same at 144 million or just under. Next slide, please. Then location C, excuse me, is up where the current soccer field is, all the way up against the expressway there. Again, has some pros and cons. Con being it is farther away from utilities. It's a hike again to the vocational building. It is the highest spot on the campus as far as elevation, which you would think, not necessarily, but you would think would be good for, geotech study or, the soil condition. However, one thing that is a problem is that it's a pretty good drop between, excuse me, there and the vocational building. So going to the vocational building is not, going downhill, but it's coming uphill, pretty good hill coming back. Again, inclement weather, accessibility issues to the vocational building is a con for that, as well as it would be sitting on a fairly new soccer field, which is very nice turf field that would need to be relocated over to the east of the football field. And that really drives the cost probably for this one more than the first two. Next slide, please. As you can see, the difference in the cost, this one is almost 148 million, almost and a half. And the cost, really, the difference is that 4.5 million for replacement of that soccer field is the difference. Next slide, please. And then location, our option 3 location is again on that back high side of the campus, but partially on the current structure. It has a lot of the same pros and cons as the option 2 location C, except for con-wise, it doesn't sit on that soccer field. And so it would not require the relocation of any athletic facilities except for the tennis courts. Excuse me. But like I said, the biggest difference here is going to be there will be have to be a partial demolition of the current structure. There would need to be a swing space added as well. Again, this makes the construction costs go up, but construction length go up as well. Next slide, please. And this breaks down where those costs are. Again, replacing the tennis courts, the swing space again is a little over, just a hair over $6 million. The demolition will actually be a little bit more expensive as well because you have to do a partial demolition. You have to be very careful about getting into parts of the building that you don't want it to be demolished because you want to use it while construction is going on. And then you have to seal that up as well. And then again, some of the same cost as option one drives this price up to just under $153 million. Next slide, please. So we said all of that fun stuff to get to the end, and that is basically here's the three options and the locations and their different costs. As you can see, option two has the lowest cost. There's three locations, so location A and B are the same. The location B is the better site rank for that facility or for that option. And therefore, that's the option that we recommended to Campbell County School District 1 was option 2B. Again, the cost coming in at just under $144 million. And with that, I'll take any questions you might have.
Let's see. Mr. Chairman, could I ask a question? Mr. Chairman, I think you're muted. Mr. Tanner, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, all right. Well, Mr. Chairman, if it's all right. So just looking at that, so 2B is appears to be the preferred option based on your recommendation. I think it makes sense. Would it be safe to say that the life cycle cost of going with this approach, recognizing the existing football fields old and probably need some updates, probably would come out the lowest if you went to that level, including the operation, maintenance, and custodial staff, et cetera, associated with this facility in some capacity?
Absolutely. I think, you're going to be able to right size the building with option two. So, you have 100,000 square feet that you're maintaining that, according to the maximum allowable square footage that you wouldn't have to here. So definitely square feet plays into cost for maintenance and as well as custodial. So yes, over the lifetime of this building, it will be much cheaper, much cheaper, even more than indicated in this Mercer because of some of those annual costs that you will, cost savings you will reap.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Tanner. A follow-up question, if I may, Mr. Chairman. The enhancements related to the football and athletic facilities, do those get paid for by Campbell County School District number 1 or the state?
Mr. Chairman, those will be covered by Campbell County High School or Campbell County School District number 1.
Okay, thank you, Shelby. All right, those were my questions. Would it be appropriate to make a motion?
Mr. Chairman, if you're ready, I'd be happy to walk through the summary sheet, just give the commission a little bit more information, if you're ready for that.
Chairman Tarter, you're muted if you're trying to speak.
This technology is hard on us senior citizens. Anyway, Shelby, yeah, go through that, and then at the end, please give us your recommendations.
Certainly, Mr. Chairman. So I will go through the summary sheet. I am not going to go in depth and cover everything that Mr. Tanner just did. I'll just breeze by a lot of that, kind of mention it in passing, unless there's a particular question, in which I'm happy to address. In 2024, the legislature appropriated $7,605,809 for the design of a remedy for Campbell County High School. That legislation does require that the commission select the most cost-effective option and that it be included in the school district's facility plan. We have researched that the construction of a new Campbell County High School was included in the 2023 facility plan. And so we have the facility plan portion of that covered. We just need the approval of the commission. In March of 2024, the commission approved us to move forward with the most cost-effective remedy for adequacy. We hired MGT to perform that study for us. And then on page 34, I've walked through the options, option 1, 2, 2A, 2B, 2C, and as well as option 3, as Mr. Tanner just did for you. So if you get to page 36, you'll see the option summary, which was the sheet that Mr. Tanner also shared with you that shows option 2B, having the site ranking as number 1 with the most advantages and fewest disadvantages at a cost just under $144 million. MGT's recommendation was option 2B is the most cost-effective remedy to construct a new high school, which will address the long-term condition and adequacy needs and ensure compliance with the statewide adequacy standards. This new facility will feature a modern design, improved functionality, and enhanced educational spaces to provide a better learning environment for students. This recommendation aims to provide a cost-effective solution that balances financial considerations with the need to deliver those educational services. On December 5th, last Thursday, we did meet with the Campbell County School District No. 1 Board of Trustees, and they voted unanimously to concur with MGT's recommendation of option 2B as the most cost-effective remedy. So the action item is the SFC needs to make an adoption of a Mercer for the Campbell County High School, which will allow the facility plan to be updated and the design funds appropriated in 2024 session to be moved forward and the design to begin. I'm going to move now over to page 41. All the pages in between are just your statutory and rules and regulations references. So potential results, if the recommended Mercer or another option is adopted by the SFC, it will allow the state construction department to incorporate the Mercer into the facility plan and encumber funds appropriated in the 2024 session to perform the design. If a Mercer for the Campbell County High School is not adopted, the design of the new Campbell County High School cannot move forward with the 2024 appropriated funds without further study. So, Mr. Chairman, our recommendation is that the State Construction Department recommends that the SFC adopt it as its written determination MGT study entitled Most Cost-Effective Remedy Study, Campbell County High School Condition dated December 5th, 2024, and option 2B as the most cost-effective remedy. This remedy is in the best financial and educational interest of the state, taking into consideration the most efficient and cost-effective approach to addressing building and facility needs. The first action of the design process shall be to perform a thorough geotechnical investigation to determine the suitability of the proposed site and the foundation requirements to ensure this is an acceptable and cost-effective location for construction.
Thank you
Mr.
very
Chairman,
much. I entertain a motion to approve.
Mr. Chairman, I move the School Facilities Commission approve the State Construction Division's recommended motion as written.
I need a second.
Second.
It's been moved by Travis Conklin, and seconded by Jackie Van Mark. Discussion. Discussion.
Mr. Chairman,
Discussion. Joni,
I have a question, and I apologize to Mr. Tanner. I should have asked earlier, but was option 3 the first time that the tennis courts were mentioned in the Mercer study?
Yes, yes.
And I don't know like where the tennis courts are now, and with option 2B, how are we impacting them?
You are not on option 2B. 2C was to the west of the soccer field and back very far back of the south of the campus, and that's where the tennis courts are. They're right there in the very corner, southwest corner of the campus.
Okay, and they'll just stay there untouched with option
Correct.
2B.
Correct.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
any further questions? Any further questions? Any further questions? Sensing you're ready to vote. All those approving the recommendation and the motion, please say aye.
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 If any opposed, we have the same sign. Are there any abstentions? We have approved the Mercer study for Campbell County School District number 1. And I personally would like to thank Superintendent Ayers and Mr. Bartlett and Mr. Mathis for their willingness to work with everybody. And I would like to thank Shelby and her staff for doing a fantastic job. All those people together made a tough project to come to the point where we are today. So I'd like to thank you all. So, and also our board. So.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You might see if Superintendent Ayers or Superintendent Bartlett have any comments.
Well, you know Bartlett well.
Hi, everyone. This is Alex. Can you hear me okay, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayers, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. I really want to thank you and the commission as well as the department for the good work over the last half a year or so. So it's a celebration for the students in our community, and we're so excited to move forward. So thank you all.
And you know, we're excited too, Superintendent Ayers. So thank you. So, Dave, you got to say something.
Well, I appreciate that, Mr. Chair. I'd like to just reiterate what Dr. Ayers said. I appreciate the commission and the staff's flexibility and willingness to work together. I know that we wanted to get this done before joint appropriations got to that. So again, thank you. We're excited. We're ready to get to work. So appreciate it.
That's great. Let's get her done. Okay, the next item is we need to move into executive session. So if we could shut everything off except for the commission and
Chairman, I need a motion and a vote, please. The motion's on the screen.
Mr. Chairman, this is Commissioner Van Mark. I move the School Facilities Commission go into executive session for the purpose of receiving confidential legal advice.
I need a second.
Second.
Discussion. Since you're ready to vote, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. So moved. So we can take about a 2-minute break in case somebody needs to get out of the area.
Okay, now you may continue, Chairman.
Okay, is there anybody that wants to come in and, because we do have on here public comments.
No, I think everyone, besides staff has left. We just did it for logistical purposes.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, if I could, before we adjourn, just a final comment then on the, I guess, the outcome of the decision today. So the cost for this is lower than what we had in the budget. So we had a little north of 160 million in the budget, plus then the 6% based on that amount. This is gonna be lower. We've run this through our calculators. And then we inflated it at 4.6% for 2 years. So when it's all said and done, it's about $16 million less between the unanticipated and the budget for the construction than what would have been taken to the Joint Appropriations Committee this coming Thursday morning. So based on this, LSO will rewrite the select committee bill to show the new cost figures. And so when we go into JAC, we'll be asking for less from them than we had for what the commission had moved forward. So the commission's budget goes into the governor's budget. So now we have a bit of a disalignment between the governor's budget request of the 160 and then the select committee, but that's easily explained based upon the cost coming out of the Mercer study. And so while I'm sure there won't be any issues over that, we've also briefed the governor's office on these cost changes. So I think we're in good shape there. So hopefully that should help maybe move this through the Joint Appropriations Committee at an even lower cost than what was being proposed and forwarded by the select committee. So
Okay, thank
for
you.
those that might want to watch, I don't know when schools will come up. They have us scheduled from 8:30 in the morning until noon this coming Thursday. It'll be up to the chairman to decide, whether they want schools first or last. When my phone went off, that was actually the chairman of Select calling me. And so my question to him is, do you know which one they're going to have? Because they usually have 2 separate time frames for our budget. This year, they put them all into one. So I'm not sure if schools is going first or the construction management is. And so he's going to reach out to the chairs tonight and see if perhaps, and let me know Thursday whether the schools will be up first or whether it'll be the construction management. So.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for the director or Shelby? Okay, sensing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Been moved. I need a second. Moved and seconded. No discussions allowed. All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
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 There any opposed, same sign. We're out. If I don't, okay, well, anyway, we may not have any more meetings before Christmas, and if we don't, everybody have a Merry Christmas and enjoy being sued.
Thank
Oh,
you.
oh.
Appreciate it. Have a good day.
Merry
Mr.
Christmas.
Chairman, I guess I should have worn my Grinch tie.
Such a great gift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First time ever.
Really lucky. Bye, guys.
Anyway,
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
Take
you,
care,
everybody.
everyone.
have a good
Bye,
one.
Merry Christmas.
Good seeing everybody too.
Yeah.